Hey traders, Raghee here. We know there's a number of downtrends that have already been in the market, whether that be PayPal. A lot of us have seen that PayPal drop, and everyone knows what Baba's been doing. And there's a number of individual names that have really rolled over and started to print red grab candles, lots of them. Well, it's the broader indices that have been able to ignore those moves and keep going higher until last week. We're getting closer and closer to the action of the Federal Reserve, likely in March, to see that first quarter point rate hike. So we're starting presumably a tightening cycle. Equities, of course, hate that because that just means the punch bowl is no longer going to be spiked. What's really, I think, most remarkable about the move isn't that we've moved lower. We've seen moves lower in different levels of volatility in the past, but it's what levels we have now broken. So the first thing to get our attention when we're thinking about, can I short fill in the blank, right? Let's think about this as a series of steps. And I'm going to use some tools that are available free to everybody watching this video right now, not just members, although I'll be giving you all my layouts in the room tomorrow, Tuesday. But even if you're not a member, you can head on over to countdowntrader.com and download the free tools that I'll be referring to here today. Grab candles, the wave, Darvis 2.0, and propulsion. The first thing that really grabbed my attention wasn't just all the red grab candles, but the fact that the red grab candles broke the 200 propulsion. This is where the 200 exponential moving average would be cutting across the screen. That gets my attention in a very significant way. Now, it's not just the Nasdaq that's doing this. S&P testing that level. You'll see the Dow also testing that level. RTY testing that level. Now, RTY's tested this level far before. So if you're wondering, Rob, we were slicing and dicing with this thing way back in here. Was that one of the initial indications of weakness? Well, notice we've been bouncing off it many times throughout 2021. Breaking it gets your attention. The number of red grab candles keeps your attention. And when this market continues to plot red grab candles and continues to hammer away at whatever bids might be sitting at the 200, usually the bears are going to win. How do you know the bears are winning? The momentum and the trend game? The red grab candles. All right, so we know the indices are under pressure. The futures contract that gets my attention is the ZN. We know ZN has an influence on mortgage rates. We know that the higher yields, as the 10-year futures contract drops, is also going to be a big drag on tech. Tech is the one corner of the market that's probably the easiest to put on your let's short this on a rip watch list. What we really need to see is that we continue to print these red grab candles on the daily chart of the Nasdaq. And then I'm going to show you a separate tool. Now, this is not officially part of TOPS, but this is an indicator that we call the JT trend. It measures the 8-13-21 and the wave, and it just puts it in a handy little trade flag in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. As long as this stays red over red, if we get some sort of rip higher into the 200, into even the wave, that is going to be an opportunity to short. So structure first, then strategy. Structure dictates strategy. In fact, structure dictates the strategy, and strategy dictates the indicators that we're going to use. And in this case, I'd love to see a short at the propulsion, maybe the automated Darvis, the support and resistance here of the Darvis, maybe even up into the wave. We'll see how high the rip, if at all, is. Well, that also then brings up, well, what about one of the weakest sectors within the Nasdaq? So let's crack open that futures contract and see where we have even more weakness, where we have another break, maybe even more clear, of the 200, and that's on XLC. Now, immediately, if you're thinking XLC, you'll be thinking, for my stock traders out there, Facebook, Google, right? You're going to think about a lot about those communication stocks that are in the XLC. fact, a lot of you might even be thinking communications. Rag, I'm even thinking some of the telecommunication stocks in the IYZ. I agree. But the XLC is, as I would call it, double red, or red over red. That means we have bearish momentum and we have the bearish trend. And then now you know to look for names that are under the 200 propulsion. And again, make sure you check out countdowntrader.com to download all this. And then in the Charts and Coffee morning show that we do Monday through Friday, 9 to 9:20 a.m., come join me there, because if you have questions, what's really great about that session is it's an interactive session. It's available on the Simpler Trading YouTube channel. So if you're a member, if you're not a member, no worries. Bring your questions. It's a lively 20-minute discussion. So at this point, hopefully all the pieces are coming together. You've got the free indicators, the tops indicators from Countdown Trader, and then join me at Charts and Coffee. And by the way, if what we're talking about with these downtrends is something that is definitely on your mind, yes, Rog, how do we short this market and how do I know where to short? Smash that like button. Let me know we're heading in the right direction. And even better, leave me a comment and maybe some symbols that you're curious about. Hey, Rog, is this a downtrend? Is this that double red that you're talking about? Is this south of the 200 propulsion? And we'll take the conversation from there. All right, so that's where we are. Nasdaq, XLC, take a look at the SMH. See, SMH is just starting to test this area. Not a red over red, like Nasdaq, like XLC is. All right, what about XLY, consumer discretionary? Much more convincing. So this just further adds the fact that we have to be discerning in this environment. Not everything is in a downtrend. Not everything is equally bearish. We want to differentiate bearish momentum in chop versus bearish trend. Okay? Here we have a lot of bearish momentum and even one red grab candle. Is this a downtrend? Not even close. In fact, this is much more a neutral market that had a lot of green grab candles before it. There might be a really nice buy brewing on XLP. So again, be very specific. In fact, right now, let's not think about the markets, right? Let's think about individual indices, individual sectors, and individual stocks. And it's going to become a whole lot easier to differentiate between places that you want to be a buyer, like potentially XLC. And even, I like the KRE. Some people might say, Rog, we've got two grab candles here. But once again, I've got a neutral environment. So put the grab, the wave, the propulsion, and the Darvis. That'll color code your candles. It'll put this moving average on there. It'll put the propulsion and allow you to understand where the automated support and resistance levels are. And then we can start adding more like the trade flags and things like that in coming weeks and months. So keep that in mind. Build your watch list one at a time based on whether or not you might be interested in a buy and whether or not you might be interested in shorting the rip. So there are buy the dips in this environment, and there are clearly opportunities to potentially short the rip. Remember, after Wednesday, after the Federal Reserve hot zone at 2 p.m., let's see where the March expectations for a rate hike are at. Let's see how the markets respond, and we'll go from there. All right? In the meanwhile, start building those watch lists, get your layouts all set up, and when I see you all in the futures room and in the options room tomorrow, I'll share the layout that I've got with the tops for you all on TOS, make it really easy to set this up with these free tools so you can start using them right away. I know they're going to be a needle mover for you. Be good to each other. Smash that like button, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.